Sports Nation presented by the BYU Store. Official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. It is Thursday, November 6th. I'm Jeremy Jordan. He is water bottle locker coordinator Jason Shepard.
You know, I always do feel a little bad for, the locker room celebrations with the, luckily it's just water.
Yeah.
But I always feel bad for the people that have to go in and clean that up after the fact. But hey,
yeah, it just dries.
Last night, pretty cool moment for BYU women's basketball. Lee Camard got the win in exhibition, but the exhibition game, but first win as head coach of BYU women's basketball, a dominating win over Coastal Carolina, and this was the celebration in the BYU locker room after.
How many bottles did he have in his hand? 3 or 4?
That looked like
he was
four.
Prepared.
Yeah, he was ready. He was ready.
Seasoned veteran.
Somebody brought up though, and I may need to ask Lee. He didn't go with the Roy Williams celebration going into the locker room.
I thought he'd walk in all excited and sneak his way in and shimmy there.
It was a really cool night for him. And on post game when I talked to him, he did say, I'm kind of glad it's over, just to kind of get it out of the way. And now you got the one win, the celebration, and now let's just go on and win more basketball games.
Fun game. You talk about possessions, 91 points, and BYU turned it over 25 times. I mean, that was a fun game to watch. It was crazy.
91 points. It's the first time since the end of January of 2022 that BYU scored 90-plus points.
It's been many moons.
Yeah.
Many moons. Hopefully there are more 90-plus point games.
Amen.
Let's go. All rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending. They're the best team BYU will play until a college football playoff game if they get there. Defense for Texas Tech. They are legit.
I think that their biggest advantage against Texas Tech is using the talented wide receivers. I feel like there will be opportunities for BYU in that facet of the game.
You better believe it. We're just 2 days away from the first top 10 matchup in the history of Cougar football. Number 7 BYU, number 8 Texas Tech. You've heard it all week. Let's go. Despite BYU's 8-0 record and the higher ranking, the Cougars still a 10-point dog against the Red Raiders. So, all this talk about Texas Tech, where does BYU have an advantage or advantages in the matchup, Jason?
Yeah, I've been trying to think of the right phrasing for this. The first that comes to mind is battle-tested, but I'm not sure if that's accurate. And especially when you look this far into the season, when you look at where both teams stand in the college football playoffs, both of these teams are battle-tested. But the way that I mean it for BYU is the type of games that they have played.
Yes.
I feel like they've been put in different situations that have allowed them to overcome more and to be able to have regardless of the situation, whether you're down by a touchdown or down by double digits, which BYU has done, on the road nonetheless, to be able to find a way to make the adjustments to come back and take control of the game. That breeds confidence throughout a roster that regardless of the situation, we're not going to panic. We're going to stick to what we're trying to do, and if we need to, the coaching staff will make the necessary adjustments, and they'll put us in a better situation to try and change some of the things that weren't working. I think that's a big aspect of this BYU team all season long. They've had some adversity. Things weren't going their way, had some turnovers. They're on the road. They're down by double digits at Colorado. But going to halftime, the coaches make the adjustments, they come out, and then they take control in the second half. We've seen that time and time again. We saw it most recently against Iowa State. So to me, I think that is one of the biggest advantages that BYU has is regardless of how the game starts, this team is not going to panic. They're not going to freak out like, oh my gosh, how is this happening to us? If this is an insurmountable situation for us to overcome, they're just not going to do that. I think that's a big mental edge that BYU has.
And that's good because, if you trail at Texas Tech, which is likely at some point in the game, come on. How are you feeling about it? The counter to that would be, well, Tech hasn't played close games because they're blowing out people. They didn't trail for the first 6 games, Shep.
I get it.
They've lost 1 game at Arizona State when Sam Levitt was healthier. He's out for the season now. 26-22. Will Hammond was playing. Baron Morton was not. And, Texas Tech has given up more than 21 points in 1 game this year. They lost it. So can BYU, as an underdog, as you see the graphic, they've been really good. Last 8 games as a underdog, 7-1. Not against the spread, straight up, which is a crazy thing. BYU, I don't think they can afford to play the type of game they have come back in against Iowa State, against Arizona, against Colorado, trailing against Utah, that one was like one score.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
fine. That could happen. But those other three, I don't think that's going to work against Texas Tech. They're too good.
Yeah,
this is the #1 rated defense in PFF in the country. They're incredible.
I agree with exactly what you said, that this team hasn't had to go. Speaking of Texas Tech, they've just been blowing teams out, so they haven't had to go through that. But my counter
because they're good.
My counter to that is if BYU can come out and gain an advantage early, they come out and score.
Front run.
And then get up by 10, 14 points, put a little doubt in Texas Tech's mind. They're in a situation that they haven't been in very much this year. And so do they then begin to panic, start to force a couple of things?
Yeah, Baron Morton hasn't. He wasn't the one in the Arizona State game. He's probably going, I'm not the one that lost that game. Like, I'm here. So I'm interested to see this. Okay, advantages I'm seeing. Red zone defense. BYU is 6th in the country. You can thank Utah for all those non-field goal 4th downs where BYU stopped them. Texas Tech 57. So BYU buckles down in the red zone. That's an advantage. BYU has a better run game with LJ Martin. Good duo of running backs with Texas Tech. 18 more yards for the Cougars. Because of that, time of possession average, more than 3 minutes more per game. Can BYU control the clock with a good run game? But remember, Texas Tech #1 in the country in rush yards allowed per game at 75. 3rd and 4th down defensive success. BYU is the 11th in the country. They do a nice job of buckling down. Texas Tech 27th on offense. Good, but not as good as 11th. BYU 16 spots higher in offensive EPA, expected points added. That's a big metric that a lot of teams like. BYU's 13th, and Texas Tech's offense 29th. And then net punting, BYU's way better, 52 spots ahead. So there are spots where BYU is better. But BYU should take confidence we have figured out, as you mentioned, how to win in different ways. But that certain equation of trailing, I don't think is going to work in this situation.
Yeah, you don't want to constantly have to come back.
Yes, I think
it's good if you can do it.
Yeah,
but you don't want to put yourself in that position.
They certainly can, but there are NFL dudes littered on the other side there.
Right.
It's different than when you're playing Colorado or Arizona, who have singular NFL guys around. Maybe a couple, but Texas Tech is legit. They have 3 of the highest rated 8 individuals on defense in the country. That's crazy.
Yeah.
David Bailey leads the nation in sacks, Romello Height, and then Jacob Rodriguez is the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year right now. We'll talk to Hans Olsen coming up and see his opinion on that too. But they punched the ball out last week against K-State. K-State was going blow for blow with Texas Tech, and then they turned it over 5 times.
Yep.
K-State was out scheming Tech on the first couple of drives. They had some explosives. Avery Johnson in the run game. Seabear Bachmeier perhaps taking advantage of some of those situations. They were blitzing corners where there was no one on that side. They decided to stay back because K-State was running at the blitz. BYU's got to bring a great game to win it, but they can totally do it because they should have confidence that they can do it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
I know there's been conversation about BYU hasn't had to abandon the run game. I think Josh Pate said. Did you watch the Iowa State second half?
Yeah.
I mean, BYU literally at halftime said, okay, we got to throw the ball. And they threw for 307. That was incredible. There are advantages. BYU's got to take and seize them in that moment because Tech is stinking good.
Okay, if BYU is going to win this game on Saturday, do you believe it's going to be the offense or the defense that needs to have the bigger impact?
Offense, they got to score. Because I think defensively, BYU can go toe-to-toe with the Texas Tech defense. But can BYU's offense go up against one of the best defenses in the nation?
Yeah.
I mean, PFF's #1, as I mentioned. Tech's allowed more than 21 once. That's it. They lost that game. Can BYU get into the mid to high 20s? Other numbers that stick out for Tech: 4th in defensive success rate, 3rd in drop back success rate, 4th in rush success rate defensively, 7th in pass yards per attempt. So they are not letting teams get explosive on them. Yet, here comes JoJo Phillips to add to the cadre of BYU receivers. Carson Ryan's been a little quiet the last couple weeks. I'd love to see him involved. But the top receiving duo in the Big 12 comes from Provo. It's Chase Roberts and Parker Kingston. Kingston's on a heater. Roberts is the most consistent thing about BYU. His super Y thing is a movement. It's happening all over the place, which is really fun. BYU's offense has to go toe-to-toe and out-scheme, out-advantage, out-leverage Texas Tech in this game because they've got an incredible defense.
Yeah, you and I are on the same side of this. It's the offense. And look, on the defensive side, how many times have we seen, and I think the perfect example of this was Iowa State, where Iowa State came out, obviously hit on that very first play. They started moving the ball, and you're thinking, okay, this is just one of those games. It's finally caught up to the BYU defense. This is just one of those, and yet towards the end of the half, and then in the entire second half, they made the adjustments, and they put the clamp down on Iowa State's offense. I am just super bullish on what this defense can do, and I think they will be up to the task. Now, I think the offense will be up to the task as well, but I think more falls on their shoulders to make sure that side of the ball is productive. And I think it can come in a myriad of ways, but because of how stingy the defense is for Texas Tech on the ground, if BYU can somehow find a way to be a consistent ground game producing offense, I think that can go a long way, because then it sets up the play action for Bear. And not only that, but with the play action and Bear's ability to run, it just opens up everything for Aaron Roderick and that playbook for that side of the football. So for me, if the offense, and I love what you said, they can score in the mid to high 20s.
Give me 24. Give me 27.
That sets things up very, very nicely for BYU.
Turnover margin's pretty interesting for these two teams as well, because 20 takeaways is an incredible number for Texas Tech. That is second in the country. Margin, BYU actually has a better margin. BYU's plus 10, that's fourth in the country. Texas Tech plus 8, they've turned it over a little more on offense. BYU doesn't turn it over on offense.
And since that two-game stretch where BYU had some of the turnover issues, they have cleaned that up significantly. That will play a huge role in making sure that type of play continues.
And that's why BYU's 8-0. BYU very well could be 6-2, 5-3, and still be on or ahead of schedule with the true freshman quarterback. They're 8-0 because they take care of the football.
Yeah.
And against Texas Tech, if BYU goes -2, I don't know that they're going to win the game. If they go +2, now we're talking, right? This BYU defense needs to be good. And obviously +2, you win a lot of games no matter who you play. But when you're on the road against a top 10 team, BYU is a top 10 team, got to take care of that football. It's part of BYU's winning formula this year. Our question of the day is this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that BYU can pull off the upset? It's funny we're saying that as the higher-ranked team, but that's, plus 10 for BYU here. In Lubbock over Texas Tech. Shane W. on Twitter. A serious 6-7. Oh, okay.
Do it. Do it.
No.
Do it.
2 weeks to prepare. Comes down to turnovers. So 6-7. Nice. KC Cougar Dad. 5, depends on what we get from our banged-up stars. LJ, Glasker, Kelly, if we're close to full strength, my number jumps to 8. That is a big question is, okay, they're playing, but how effective will they be? I've been arguing this week. I don't know if BYU can win if LJ is not effective. LJ has to be effective. Otherwise, it gets a little too pin your ears back for Bailey, Height, Rodriguez, punching the ball out, trying to get past BYU's tackles. That matchup will be fun, too. I can't wait to talk to Hans, by the way, about the trenches.
Yeah.
This is a trench game, and Hans is going to break it down. That'll be fun.
Well, and that's why this bye could not have come at a better time with the injuries.
And everyone says that, but literally
for
the health into the biggest game of maybe the modern era or
100%.
ever of BYU football. I mean, crazy. At Rowdy in the Rock, 7.67. Okay.
Do it.
All right. You can see it on the screen. I'll read it for the radio audience. I think it's a one-score game either way over the past 2 years. BYU has shown they can hang with anybody, pull out the win late in the game. I mentioned this yesterday, Shep. BYU's lost its last 4 losses going back to the end of 23 by a combined 23 points. If BYU loses, it's a game. And we fully expect that. Because if BYU does not win this game, but it's competitive, it's tight, it's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, you need to win the next 3 to get to Arlington. Otherwise, you're in tiebreakers. But from a we're in the playoff mix still perspective, that's where you want to be. Obviously, win the game, though. Just win the game.
You've got an opportunity to set yourself up nicely.
If this team is different than last year, they've got to win in Lubbock or Cincinnati. They don't need both, but they need one of those. And they have to win the other.
3 wins put you in Arlington.
Yes, because if BYU does not get to Arlington, the narrative is, well, they did the same thing as last year. And granted, we are ahead of schedule here with BYU. They're not supposed to be 8-0. They're not. They should have lost one of those games. They should have lost 2 or 3 of them. It's been awesome, but now we're getting greedy. Number 7, don't want last year. Let's go. Continue to weigh in on X, Facebook, and Instagram.
All right, speaking of winning, BYU women's soccer just keeps winning. beating 5 seed and 23rd ranked Baylor 4-0.
Keep it going.
In the second round of the Big 12 tournament in Fort Worth. Do you believe that win guaranteed BYU will be hosting a first-round NCAA tournament match?
No. I thought the TCU win did.
Ah.
See what I did there?
Okay, all right.
I think that win did, and then this is all gravy. BYU's not going to be a top 16 team to where they host second and third round. Kind of in the 30s in RPI, right? I haven't looked at the updated kind of this week thing. But BYU's on a heater. They're getting hot at the right time. You hope you carry this momentum through Saturday's game, win a Big 12 title, and then play a first-round game at home, and then keep it going into what you hope is a Sweet 16. This team has been super banged up. They've found the back of the net in a way they hadn't in the last couple of weeks and months. It's fun to see them peak at the right time. And there's not a situation where Jen Rockwood's been like, I haven't been there.
Yes. It's back to what we were talking about with BYU football.
Yes.
She has seen it all.
Yes.
You're
and
not
shout
gonna...
out Walbrook for scoring goals. Shout out Chelsea Peterson, if you missed it. BYU's goalie in the Utah game, which they had to win to make the Big 12 tournament, by the way. Tore ACL, broke her fibula. It was gnarly. Chelsea Peterson has come in as the backup who barely played. And she has been on fire this week, winning a penalty shootout.
Yeah, this is a perfect example when people say just put yourself in a position to be in the tournament, whatever tournament we're talking about, and then see what happens.
Yep.
With the way this program historically has handled itself in these situations, just giving themselves a chance. That's all they asked for, because they knew once they got there, they had the ability to get on a run, and we're seeing that right now.
It's been fun to see. Like, if you're going to get on a heater, it's way better right now than it is in the middle of October or September or even August. BYU has discovered that, and they are playing great. They're taking on Kansas coming up Saturday night, 8 Eastern on ESPN+. And by the way, we will talk to Ellie Walbrook coming up in the program about this run they are making.
Yeah, it is a big, big Saturday. Lots going on for BYU. 7th-ranked Cougars taking on 8th-ranked Texas Tech. Here's your broadcast schedule. BYU Sports Nation Game Day, 10 a.m. Eastern on BYUtv. Cougar Pregame Live, 10 a.m. Eastern on BYU Radio. Then it's The Kick on ABC and on BYU Radio at 12 Eastern Time. You can just finish your breakfast and then turn on the game. Post-game coverage immediately after the game on both BYU TV and BYU Radio. We've got you covered from start to finish.
Busy day with women.